Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, thank you, sir. HOD, BOS Chairman and Faculty Advisor for IJS SVC Student Chapter, Dr. O. Ishwar Reddy Garu. Speaker of today's session, Ms. Padmaja Garu, Engineer at McAfee Environmental Solutions Private Limited, Gurgaon, India. Mr. M. Tarun Kumar Garu, Assistant Professor, Coordinator for IJS SVC Student Chapter, faculty members of Civil Engineering Department, SVC, and all the participants. A very good morning to all. I am Kaushik Kumar, President of IGS Sri Vidyaniketan Engineering College Student Chapter. I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all on behalf of IGS SVC Student Chapter. The Department of Civil Engineering, Sri Vidyaniketan Engineering College, is organizing a two-day national level online workshop on technological advancements in geotechnical engineering, practice with geosynthetics under IGS SVC Student Chapter. Now I would like to call upon our Professor O. Ishwara Reddy Garu, HOD of the Civil Engineering Department and Faculty Advisor, IGS SVC Student Chapter, for his opening remarks. Please, sir. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Kaushik.
Yes, sir.
Very good morning to all. A warm welcome to today national level online workshop on technological advancements in geotechnical engineering practice with geosynthetics. From our alumni, all resource persons are from our alumni. So good morning, Padmaja.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. So good morning, Tarun Kumar and other colleagues and my dear participants. It's a rare opportunity to give opening remarks in a workshop where all my students are keynote speakers. So it's my privilege to organize such an event under IGS SVEC Student Chapter. So coming to this particular workshop, so we thought having an industry interaction workshop. So by involvement of the industry with vast experience. Then during that particular process, what we thought is, let us give an opportunity to our alumni, those who are having sufficient experience in the industry, so that they will have a platform to share their experiences with the students, and at the same time they will be having the feeling of contributing back to the institute and interacting with the students. So interacting with the students to share their experiences and motivate them and inspire them to pursue career with interest and zeal. So this is the intention of this particular workshop, how it has been designed, and today is the implementation day one. So I thank all the alumni, Padmaja, Dheeraj Kumar Reddy, Harshit, and Narendra Kumar Reddy. Fortunately, except Harshit, the remaining students are my project students. So I appreciate their commitment and sincerity and discipline in delivering their duties or discharging their duties at their own companies. And as well as whenever I call, so they are responding in a positive way. So to contribute back to the institute in the form of interaction, continuous interaction, technically, as well as internships or placements, whatever it is. So in this particular 2 days, we have 2 lectures in each day. So in day one, Padmaja and Mr. Dheeraj Kumar Reddy, and day 2 we have Harshit and Narendra Kumar Reddy. Majority of these 4 lectures are focusing on how best we can use geosynthetics in stabilizing various structures. So in the field of pavements as well as geotechnical engineering, especially transportation engineering supporting structures. So like retaining walls, slopes. So how to stabilize this soil wherever it is having so stability problems. So we can comfortably use artificially made geosynthetics. So how best we can use these geosynthetics at appropriate place with optimal design. So they will try to share their experiences with you people. So you are free to talk to them once the lecture is over. I suggest you to interact with the speakers and have their experience. So and to clarify your doubts. Okay. So I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. This world is full of diamonds and gems, and we are having one of them here today to build this event. Miss M. Padmaja Garu, engineer at McCaffrey Environmental Solutions Private Limited, Gurgaon, India. Now I request Miss Rupa to read the profile of Miss Padmaja Garu. Over to you, Rupa.
Thank you, Kaushik. A very good morning to all the dignitaries and participants. I am Rupa, Social Activities Committee Head, IGS SVC Student Chapter. It's an immense pleasure for me to read the profile of resource person Ms. Padmaja Gurram Garu. Ms. Padmaja Gurram Garu is currently working as an engineer at McAfee Environmental Solutions Private Limited, India, Italian-based multinational company, having projects and branches in different parts of the world. She has obtained her bachelor's degree in civil engineering from Sri Vidyaniketan Engineering College, Tirupati. And immediately after obtaining the degree, she joined with McAfee Environmental Solutions Private Limited, Gurgaon, Haryana in 2017 through the campus selection. Presently, she is working on different areas of geotechnical, highway engineering field-related problems and providing a scientific solution for the same. Some of the major areas where he is currently working are problems of instability of hill slopes caused by major and minor landslide and projects related to the use of geosynthetics in different layers of road pavements. Besides above, she is also working on road projects requiring preventive and remedial measures to enhance the life of the pavement structure. She is also actively involved with India Roads Congress in the new formulation revision guidelines. She is one of the authors of IRC SP 59 2019 Guidelines for Use of Geosynthetics in Road Pavements and Associated Works, which has recently been revised and published. She was supporting a team of members involved in the new formulation of IRC SP 113 2018 Guidelines on Flood Disaster Mitigation for Highway Engineers. Besides above, she is presently working on the new formulation of guidelines for engineering of natural slopes, guidelines on stabilization of landslides and slope failures based on anatomization of practical lessons from case studies, and the revision of the existing standard, in the sense IRC SP 48 Hill Road Manual. She is actively supporting a team of members involved in the new formulation or revision of BIS code. She is currently supporting her team in the formulation, revision of BIS codes, in essence, construction of gabion walls for hill infrastructure, design and construction of reinforced soil system for hill infrastructure. I consider it a great honor to welcome our guest speaker, Ms. Padmaja Gurram Garu, to share her valuable lecture with us. Please, ma'am.
Yeah, you can share Padmaja.
Yes, sir. Yes. So today I am going to talk about flexible solutions for the problems of hilly terrains. So in this context, I am going to, what are my contents? So I am going to talk about, first of all, what are the challenges that we are facing in hilly terrains nowadays, and what are the remedial measures which we are going to mitigate the problems of hilly terrains along with the case studies. So there are so many solutions like avoiding or eliminate the problem itself, or use of flexible materials and use of rigid solution and emergency solution. There are so many varieties of mitigation systems which we can choose. So coming to the next slide, before moving to the new materials and techniques for hill slope stabilization, let us see what are the challenges in hilly terrains. So these are the typical landslides occurred in Himalayas. So I'm switching on. So you can see how much massive it is, landslide. Moving to the next slide. So slope instability scenario in our country. So these landslides in Himalayas is becoming a perennial problem. Like in each years during monsoons, at least four or five landslides are occurring in Himalayas. Not only in Himalayas, in northeastern regions and Western Ghats and Nilgiris. So in a year during monsoon, like so many landslides are occurring in our country. Like in 22 states and 2 union territory of the country are affected by landslides, although they differ from the scale of severity of disaster. Here I have listed where landslides have happened in different states or parts of the country. So here landslides are not confined to only hilly or mountainous areas, but also coastal areas too. So what are the landslides? It is an episode of downward or outward movement of slope mass ranging from various slow to rapid velocities of any kind of slope forming materials under the influence of gravity. So it is like a slope mass movement under the influence of gravity because of like there are so many reasons or causes of landslides. We'll list here I am showing the picture which is this is landslide at Lambagat, Uttarakhand, India. Then moving to the next slide, this is a rockfall. So here the next next challenge of hilly terrains facing is rockfall. Rockfall is it is rock detachments from the terrain, hilly terrain, rock detachments either in the process of rolling or sliding or other techniques. Then what is another thing is avalanches. Avalanches is mass movement of snow which is laying upon weaker snow layer, like it may be fractures or etc. Then moving to the next slide, debris flow. This debris like mass movement of loose soil, rock, water and air. So it is moving like a mass. So it will damage all these things are damaging our infrastructure. You can say national highways or expressways or other railways. So causes of slope instabilities in hilly terrains. First of all, cause of landslides. So if any slope movement is occurring in the area, what is the main cause? Why it is happening? We have to understand the mechanism behind it. So now the slope is hillside, road and valley side is there. So why the slope movement is happening? So when the increased drainage, here water is the main enemy. So when the pore water pressure is increased after so many days or so many years, so this slope is getting this soil or rock or soil boulder mix is having some shear strength. It will lose this shear strength, and whatever the shear stresses or other stresses are coming on this soil, so it will not having that much strength to withstand it. It will it will give a movement. So these are called landslides or rock falls or debris flow. So the increased pore water pressure is the main cause of landslides and steep gradients obviously. Like if your slope is standing 90 degrees or 80 degrees or 70 degrees and with a huge height, in Himalayas we can see like 100-meter or 120-meter heights of slopes. So because of increased pore water pressure and having steep gradient, one of the disadvantage. So it will give a slope movement or landslide. So then sudden increase in overburden or other loads. If we will increase the overburden or other loads, so surcharge or whatever it is, if we will increase that, so in that case we are increasing shear stresses. So the soil will lose its capability or shear strength. So it will take away to landslide. Then continuous rainfall, man-made ridges. Nowadays we are doing cutting in Himalayas, or suppose if I am taking NH58, which is going through the Himalaya, to the route of Kedarnath, Badrinath in Uttarakhand. So man-made reasons means they are so if now it is they are going to widen the road from 2-lane to 12-meter road. So if you have to go for that widening, so we have to do either hill cutting or valley side retention. So these are the two options available for road widening. So like lot of people, what they are doing is, if they don't want to go for valley side retention and they want to cut the hill. So because of that hill cutting on hillside or valley side, normally we will do hillside only. So hill cutting in the hillside, it will give, we are disturbing the complete like stability of the hill there. So if we will cut, then again destabilities we are creating ourselves. So then seismic activities, most of the landslide zones like Himalayas or the north areas or western ghats or northeastern parts, these are lying in a high seismic prone area. And in Himalayas are increasing in a year more than 1 centimeter. So because of tectonic movements, and these are also one of the causes of occurring landslides. Then what are the causes of rockfall? Rockfall is climate. Then the causes of rockfalls are climatic variation, steep slope, losing shear strength. As I told you in the landslides also, losing shear strength is one cause. And presence of here highly fractured rock mass, weathered rock is there. So if weathered rock or presence of highly faults and folds are there, so this pore water will enter into that into that rock type, and it will lose its shear strength ultimately. Then removal of support and earthquakes and other vibration. Then what are the causes of debris flow? Debris flow, here we can see it is a mass movement of soil, water and mud and rock and air. So it will like a mass movement, it will flow. Here we can see this how it is flowing. So these are the causes of debris flow. One is saturation by water due to intense rainfall, steepening of slope by erosion or construction, alternative freezing and thawing, earthquake, volcanic eruptions. Then causes of avalanche we have listed here. Then in in landslides or rockfall, like first of all, before we are treating mitigation measures, landslides or rockfall or any other problems, we have to first concentrate on drainage problems. So we have to plan the drainage network, how like hill is there, road is there and valley is there, from hillside, from where the water is coming, and how we are diverting that water and on the road. Then from valley side, how we are diverting that water into the river, valley side river. So what are the causes of drainage problems? Insufficient drains on the slope, blockage of existing drainage. So we are like nowadays in so many contractors or consultants, they are providing insufficient drains on the slope. So because of these insufficient drains, pore water pressure will get increased ultimately. So it will it will go into the landslide or rockfall or avalanche, whatever it is. And blockage of existing drainage path, if like cascade is there, culvert is there, chew drain is there, if it is blocking with debris and we are not maintaining it properly, so there the drainage problems will occur, and ultimately it is leading to landslide or other problems. And causes of erosion problems. Erosion problem means topsoil layer, when a rainfall will happen, topsoil layer it will get eroded. So main erosion control problems will occur. The causes are deforestation, heavy rainfall, steep slope, improper drainage of slopes. Then planning and engineering investigation. Here I would say, like before we are going with treat the landslide or other hill slope stability problems, first we have to plan and we have to do the proper engineering investigations. First one is data collection. Suppose if a landslide has happened, so we have to go, one of the engineer will go and investigate there. Site visit observation sheet it is. So we have to fill this sheet. These details will help us to do the designing of engineering structures, designing of mitigation structures. So this is the site observation sheet. Before we are going to the actual investigation, like geological investigation or geotechnical investigation, geophysical investigation, we have to observe this site first of all. So here it has been given project background. Then site details. What is, if the slope is there, then what is the height of slope and stretch length and average slope inclination. Then condition of the slope. Crest is there on the top of the slopes, and what is the condition, rocky or presence of overburden. By visualization, by seeing that, we can able to write all these points and we can able to fill this design information sheet. So all these things, type of strata, nature of slope, natural slope or excavated slope or cut slope, then method of cutting adopted, then condition of rock, type of rock or soil. So then is there any vegetation on the slope? If vegetation is there, what type of vegetation is there? So these all details we have to fill first. Then we can collect the photographs also, like where problem, exact problem is there, and we have to collect from like far distance also, because it will visualize your hillside, road and valley side how it is. Then contour drawings also we can, if possible, we can get it, investigation reports. Then so these are the preliminary investigation details. Like by site investigation we have to collect these details. Then can draw, like by visual, by seeing that we can draw, like hillside is there, this is the road, our road is going here, then this is the hillside and this is the valley side, here we have river is going. We can, by seeing that, we can, you know, assume that, we can estimate it. It is not exact details, it is approximate details also. So the slope angle here is 60 to 70 degree and slope height is 30 meters. So here vegetation is presented, here dense vegetation of soil we can, and here type of soil boulder mixed strata. So here this much of details we can fill by site visit observations. Then after these site visit observation, once you fill the details, then what we have to do, we have to do the detailed field investigations. So here detailed field investigations means geological investigation. So we do geological and geomorphological study. Geological means which type of rock is present there, and what are the, like RMR values, RQD values, and its faults and folds are present there. So these all details it will give. And geomorphological morphological mapping means it will give landscape and landform overlook. Then geophysical study, this is an easiest method to easiest way to determine the subsurface profile. And geotechnical investigation we know. Then field and laboratory investigation for soil and rock slope. Then hydrological investigation. So these are the investigation which normally we will do. So after all these investigation details will come, we will you know, determine the shear properties and all. So we have to choose one, like mitigation measures, like it depends upon your site condition, and it depends upon your various factors like availability of local material there, and you know, space at the bottom of the valley side, so space at the bottom of the hillside. It depends upon the so many factors. We have to choose the like most suitable mitigation measures which we are going to adopt in that particular site. So for that we have to analyze the slope stability analysis. We can do by either slide analysis or another in-house softwares we can do. Then design of mitigation measures, we have to do the design for that mitigation measures. Mitigation measures here is like hillside cutting is there, like erosion control measures, nailing or anchoring is there. Then retention measures, reinforced soil system, Garian walls, or etc. So these many systems we have to design. After that, construction and survey. So this is the steps. Then this is the drone survey. So by this drone survey we can you know, capture this entire landslide. See here, this is the NH58 road. Then here valley side, hillside is there, and here valley side is there, here river is there. So here you can, this is the landslide portion area. So we can visualize it and capture the entire area from the drone survey. This is an example. Then approach towards landslide investigations. So preliminary investigation, geomorphological and geological investigation, hydrological investigation, then subsurface investigation. If rocky slope is present, then we have to do obviously analysis with slopes. And soil slope, we have to do the analysis per soil slope, and design and construction, then monitoring. So we have to do monitoring also, because and other landslide prone areas are moving these are moving, like as I told you, 1 centimeter, more than 1 centimeter in a year, it is moving. So our structure, whatever we are providing, our structure, that needs to be accommodate that movements. Once you provide rigid structures like RCC walls or random rubble masonry walls, cantilever walls, counterfort walls, if you will provide those retaining systems there for as a mitigation measure, so it will not accommodate the movements of Himalayas or other landslide prone areas. It will, after some time, once it is getting to the movements, it will automatically cracks will develop on that surface of the whatever the rigid structure. So in those cases, to accommodate the movements or displacements, we have to go with the flexible solutions. What flexible solutions will do, it will accommodate the movements, so it will not crack or whatever it is, it will accommodate. I will show you. So these are the investigation reports. So engineering investigation, communicate between engineers, field observation we have done, then laboratory test, it will come from the investigation reports and results of field survey, estimate engineering properties of slope, then achieve engineering purposes. Then solution for the problems of hilly terrains. So we have seen what are the problems and what are the challenges we are facing in hilly terrains and what are those causes. And we have seen investigation, investigation, detailed investigation. Now we are going to talk about solution for the problems of hilly terrains. So what are the general solution? So here, like providing one, masonry wall, one retaining wall, it will not solve a problem. So in this situation, we have to go with multidisciplinary approach. Combinations of solutions we have to use. So what are those solutions normally we will do? Avoiding problem or choose an alternative alignment or relocation. Then use of lightweight materials in construction or rehabilitation. Then modification of slope geometry to minimize driving forces and or improving resisting forces. Then provision of surface and subsurface drainage measures, ensuring holistic drainage network, erosion control and other surface protection measures, provision of restraining, retaining and protective structures, rigid and flexible systems, treatment or training of slope subjected to hydraulic forces from water bodies, improvement in internal stability of slope by nailing, anchoring, grouting and micropiling, rockfall mitigation measures, debris flow mitigation measures and emergency measures. So these are the like so many solutions available nowadays. So we can go one by one. So first one is avoiding or eliminate the problem itself. So if new alignment is going in hilly terrains, so we can, and huge landslides are happened there. So what we have to do? We have to do either complete removal of slide or complete mitigation systems we have to provide. So we have to do these solutions or bridging or tunnel. If we are not able to provide complete mitigation measures there, so we have to go with this option, facility relocation. Either we have to, here facility is this highway, so new alignment highway is going, this alignment we have to relocate it. So relocation means we have to move to another area. Then complete removal of slides. Complete removal of slides means we have to, whatever the sliding portion is there, we have to remove complete that removal of slides. If we will remove that slide also, we are disturbing nature there. Then bridging and tunneling. So tunneling through hills. So I would say these options are very costlier options. So this is the first option. Then use of lightweight materials. Nowadays, so many lightweight materials are available for constructing an embankment. So here, fly ash, encapsulated sawdust, expanded shale, cinders, seashells, geoform, etc. These are the lightweight materials which are available. So when you will use the lightweight material for construction of an embankment, because it is having less weight or less density, so it will not add much more weight to that slope. So these are the advantages of use of lightweight materials. Then modification of slope geometry. So here excavation at top of slope, general flattening of slope, benching of slope, complete removal of unstable mass, earth fill at the toe of slope, rock or gravel fill at the toe of slope. So modification of slope geometry means normally if we have to widen the road, we have to, if the current road is available width of 7 meters, now we have to widen the road like to 12 meters. what we have to do, either we have to cut the hill or we have to increase the valley side retention. So this thing normally we will do. So when we have to do hillside and valley side both cutting or filling, so we have to maintain a balance between both. Then moving to the next slide. So this is the benching. So here arrangement of bumps shall be planned in consideration of various conditions. It depends upon the different conditions such as difficulty of inspection and maintenance, gradient of slope. It depends upon the gradient, means slope angle, then height of cut slope, property of soil and rock, and construction cost. Benches increase the stability of slope by dividing. This is a long slope and we are dividing the slope into the 3 segments here. So it will add the stability. Then benching of slopes are also used to control erosion in soil cuts and establish vegetation. After this, it will provide some erosion control measures, some vegetation toughing or vegetation mats we will provide. So it will give ultimately it will provide it will support erosion control measures. Then benching also provide work area for placing of horizontal drains. Here we are giving width here 1.5, let us say 1.5 to 2 meters if we are giving. So if we have to provide horizontal drains for subsurface drainage measures, so we are giving enough area here to provide those horizontal drains, and the width of shall be estimated by analysis of slope stability. Here we have done one slide analysis. So here this is the slope of 30 meter, then angle is 60 degree. So if we analyze that this slope, these are the property shear parameters. So if we will analyze this slope, it is failing actually. Then once we will divide this slope, we provided benching there, 2 bumps we have given. So it is coming safe. So it is providing slope stability to this area. Then modification of slope geometry. The objective of routine cuts and fills are to create road space for the road template. So we are going to create the road space, like that is for widening or new alignment. Then to balance the material between, to minimize slope stable over time, not to be source of sediment, and to minimize the long-term maintenance cost. So these are the typical cut and fill. This is the cut and this is the fill. So here, this is a natural ground. This is like a hill. So if we have to go with new alignment, so like if we are in a hill, we have to construct a road, then how we will go? So here we are doing cutting, then we are doing filling. This fill can be normal fill, counterweight fill, or reinforced fill, or normal fill, it is there. So ultimately we are going to create the road alignment here. Like here also full bench cut. So we are doing cutting here. These all cuttings will depends upon your type of soil and rock. So here I have listed as per IRC HRP 15. What are the different types of rock and what are the permissible slope ranges? So here these are typical fills, like it is normal fill or reinforced fill. So these are the different types. Then coming to the next slide, typical solutions which we can provide. So, like this is the hillside area and this is the road and this is the valley side. So if rockfall is, these are the barriers are normally rockfall mitigation measures. First of all, before we are going with any mitigation measures like rockfall mitigation measures or retention measures or other measures, if we are going with those measures, first of all, we have to do the drainage measures pattern from where hillside water is coming and how it is channelizing, and valley side how we are diverting to the river. So then rockfall mitigation measures, then cut slope stabilization. If already existing cut slope is there, on how we are, stabilizing the cut slope, then soil reinforcement techniques and retention measures. So this is the reinforced soil system which we have provided. So this is the retention systems, then pavement stabilization measures. So these are the here we have provided cross drainage and drainage culverts. I will show you one by one. Then drainage measures. As I am telling from starting onwards, drainage is a very, very important phenomena in landslides. So improper drainage is a major triggering factor for landslides. Then what are the different type of drainage measures? First one is surface drainage measure and next one is subsurface drainage measure. So surface drainage measures, there are 3 types. First one is catch water and intercept drain, shooter drain, and roadside drains. Here, catch water are in. I will move to the next slide. So here catch water or intercepted drains means it is catching the water from hillside and it is going to divert to the next channeling media. So this is about catch water drain and chew drain. So here I will move to the next slide. So this is the chew drain. Here hillside is there, here road is there, and this is the retention system, reinforced soil system. Here culvert is there. So through this water is coming. So this is the chew drain, complete in the complete valley side we have provided, and the water which is coming from the hillside, so it is going directly to the river. So how it is going as shown here inside view of children. So this is the simple cross section which we have made. So this children normally people will provide with concrete masonry and all. So here we have provided with Gabions mattress. I will yeah. Then roadside drains along the road. All along the road, have one roadside drain we will provide to capture the water from the hillside. So these are the catch water drains, and then moving to the subsurface drainage measures. Here horizontal pipes, cut-off drains, drainage trenches, drainage blankets, internal drains of rainforest soil system. So here these are the rockfall mitigation systems. I will take it later. So here drainage pipes are there, horizontal drainage pipes are there. So whatever the pore water pressure has been developed, so it is coming through these horizontal pipes. This needs to be designed, installed. So in the rainforest soil system, in this area, we have provided chimney drain. Chimney drain means 600 mm aggregate layers. Aggregate we will pack in geotextile, then we will provide here. Or alternatively, we can provide drainage composite also. So these are the horizontal drains. We will install like this horizontal drains. So these are one of the example. Then in a hilly area, this I will explain you. So here hillside, this is a hillside, and here it is indicating road. So this is road, then this is valley side slope, and this is river. So here, so in the hillside, cascades we have provided, and these cascades are directly touching this roadside drain. So from the hillside, water will directly diverted into the cascades, then roadside drain. So this roadside drain again is in the valley side we have provided chew drain. I have shown the pictorial representation of chew drain also. So in the hillside itself, starting from hillside, so here existing culvert is there. Again, this existing culvert we are merging with the chew drain. This chew drain is directly touching river. So this water from the hillside we are directly diverting through the through hillside to the river. So this is the drainage plan. Then retention systems. So what are the rigid solutions? Retention systems. Normally random rubble masonry wall as a retaining wall we will provide, and PCC retaining wall and RCC retaining walls, a cantilever retaining wall, counterfort retaining wall, diaphragm retaining walls. So these are the different types of the retaining measures, rigid retaining measures. But when we will provide rigid retaining measures, like in the places where the movements are happening, so it will get shaken and it will develop cracks. So because of this, we cannot choose rigid gravity retaining structures. We will always go with the flexible solutions. So here flexible solutions means gabions. Gabion is the cages or boxes, twisted hexagonal steel wire mesh. So it will looks like this. So after these cages, we will fill with boulders or stones water. Then we will form a structure like this. Here, this is the backfill soil and non-woven geotextile we have provided for suffocation and filtration. So this is a ground level. Here, one unit we have provided below the ground layer. This is called embedment depth. So these are the things. Then gabion retaining structures are commonly used retaining walls in hilly areas because of its flexibility and sustainability against dynamic forces like seismicity and seepage forces and flash floods. Because it is a porous structure, so it will give good drainage. It will not develop pore water pressure as normal retaining walls will do. So it will not develop that pore water pressure. So these shall be preferred in case of poor foundation or seepage condition and can take considerable differential settlement and some slope movements also. So it will, wherever movements are happening in those areas, Gabbian walls as a flexible measures, it is suitable. Then it is employed for the construction of erosion control measures, drainage stores, and for making retaining walls at breast walls, and used to stabilize steep slopes by working in combination with other measures. So these cables we can use with either as a drainage stores we can use, and as a retaining wall we can use, as a reinforced soil system fascia also we can use, so as a river training measure also we can use. So there are so many advantages with these cables. So I will, so normal design checks as normally we will do for conventional retaining walls, we will do overall failure, global stability we will check, then failure of foundation bearing capacity, sliding, overturning, internal failure we will check. Then moving to the next slide, these are the different standards which are available in our country now. So this is IS 16014 2018. It has revised in 2018. So this will give the materials, that boxes are made up of steel wire mesh. So it will give the material specification of steel wire mesh and how the box and box dimensions and those tensile properties, puncture strength, pull apart strength, all these details have been given in IS 16014. Then similarly, MOTH also talking about material specification. Then IRC 116 2000, it is talking about complete design installation. Then BS 8002, before we are publishing, these codes are not there, like IS 16014 and IRCSP 116. These were not there during the 2010 2008. That time we are using BS 8002. This has been published in 1998, the HTM codes. Then what are the major advantages of Gabions? The whole system is sustainable, green and flexible. Here we have provided, as I told you, this is a porous structure, and this structure we are going to fill with stones or rocks or boulders. So here pore water pressure is releasing here. So it will not, pore water pressure here, it will not develop in backfill. So then self-draining nature help to dissipate pore water pressure. Then it is green and flexible, carbon footprint reduction and durability. So here, if you will place concrete retaining wall here like this, it will crack and it will, segregate. So here we have provided Gabion wall, Gabion mattress here. So it is deforming only. It is not developing cracks, and it is accommodating with the loads over it. So then after this, I will show you the completed case studies. So this is in Mumbai Pune Express near Kandala Tunnel. So client is MSRTC and consultant is CS India. So we have provided, this is the Gabion wall cross section. So here Gabions have been provided. So then non-woven geotextile for separation and filtration purpose. This is a backfill, and here foundation soil is rock. So that's why we have provided PCC slab here. Then perforated PVC wrapped pipe with wrapped with non-woven geotextile we have provided for subsurface water drainage. Then pitching we have provided here. So this is the constructed. After construction, it is looking like this. Then after vegetation has developed, it is how it is, like how amazingly it is merging with the environment. We cannot think of Gabion wall is existing there. That much nature is occupying this. Then here Gabion retaining wall structures for landslide restoration works along NH47 Kerala. So after construction it is looking like this. Then after some years it is looking like this now. Then here we have provided Gabions wall for Trivandrum Ponmudi Road, Kerala. So here this is the cross section. So this is a Gabion wall. Here road is coming. Then geotextile as usual we have provided for separation and filtration. Then here it is we are not having that much here, since it is a rock foundation strata. So we have not that much excavate. We were not able to excavate that much into the embedment. So we provided less thickness of concrete foundation here, and because of this lesser thickness, we have provided double bars of 25 mm dia. So this is the structure. Here river is there. Then this is the structure after years. Then after gabion retaining walls, so those are retaining walls. Coming to the reinforced soil. So what are the why we are not going with normal retaining walls? Why we are going with reinforced soil? What is the advantage we are going to get? So reinforced soil is a combination of soil and linear reinforcing strips that are capable of bearing tensile stresses. The reinforcement provided by these strips enable the mass to resist the tension in way earth alone could not do it. So it will, because of provision of this linear reinforcing strips, reinforcing materials, so it is capable of, and since it is capable of bearing large tensile stresses, so it alone it is not, it won't be able to do that. The source of this resistance to tension is the internal friction of the soil, because the stresses that are created within the mass are transferred to the from the soil to the reinforcement strips by friction. So these are the reinforced soil walls. Then in reinforced soil retaining structures, what are the different types? First one is reinforced soil wall, and next one reinforced soil abutment, and next one is reinforced soil slope. Reinforced soil wall is steeper than 70 degree, between 70 to 90 degree. We will call it as reinforced soil wall. If it is less than 70 degrees, we will call it as reinforced soil slope. Then in the reinforced structure, there are different components. First one is fascia, then reinforcing material, then structural fill or reinforcing fill, then backfill, drainage arrangement. These are the normal components of reinforced soil walls. So first one is soft fascia. Here coming to the fascia. So here soft fascia is there, flexible fascia units is there. A soft fascia, wraparound fascia, back facing units are there. Then flexible fascia, gabion facings we will use, metal or woven wire mesh units we will use normally. So these aspects are like much more, these aspects will be covered by Mr. Narendra. Tomorrow he will cover. So then components of reinforced soil slope, reinforcing elements. So these are the reinforcing elements which we will use reinforce as the reinforcement in the reinforced slope or wall. So metallic one, steel with made up of steel, then mats of metal, steel grids are woven and welded shield wire meshes. So these are the fascia systems, and this is a reinforcement. So this is, here it will act as a secondary reinforcement. It is a steel wire mesh reinforcement. Then synthetic reinforcement made up of geosynthetics. Then what are the different standards which are available in our country for reinforced soil structures? IS 14458 part 1 to part 5 will give retaining wall for hilly area. So different rigid retaining walls, design and installation it will give. Then IRC SP 116 design and installation of gabion structures. Then IRC SP 102. So it will provide the details for reinforced soil walls, which the wall angle is more than 70 degree. So then MORTH will specification. Then BS 8006 part 1 also will give the design and installation aspects of reinforced soils. Then similarly FSWA standards, EN ISO 14475, then ASTO. Then these are the some of the works which we have done. So this is a reinforced soil structure. Reinforced soil structure made up of gabion fascia at Southern Railway. Then moving to the next slide, this is a landslide mitigation work which we have recently done in Birahi, Uttarakhand. So here two types of fascia we have used, I will tell you. So first one is gabion fascia. With gabion fascia we used one. Then here this is a wall, like more than 70 degree it is there. So here another type of fascia, this is a vegetated fascia. Steel, it is a combination of steel woven wire mesh and wire grid. So welded woven wire mesh and welded grid. So this type of fascia we have used. Then on that coir mat will come. So vegetation will develop for some days. So this is another type of fascia. This is a slope here because it is less than 70 degree. So here we have provided more than here we have provided 25-meter high reinforced soil system. Then moving to the next slide, road widening of NS 21 Kiratpur to Nekchok section. This is also reinforced soil slope. Then here, which we have done at Sikkim Airport, it is high retention structure. So this is a reinforced soil slope, and this is a wall made up of gabion fascia. This is a culvert, which for like wall for drainage purpose. Then control measures. After we covered, retention systems, gabion, rigid retaining walls, flexible retaining walls, and then reinforced soil system. Now we are moving to the erosion control measures. Soil erosion is a process of detachment and transportation of soil by water and wind. So after, if your topsoil is not having that much strength to place there, so it will, when rainfall will occur, so it will automatically detach. So this is a soil erosion. So normally what we will do for soil erosion, erosion control measures, there are two types of fascias we will do. One is shotcrete fascia. This shotcrete fascia is made up of steel and concrete. So in the places where landslides or rockfalls are occurring, so shotcrete fascia is not a preferable choice. Then we have gone with vegetation facing, flexible facing. Then, so different types of erosion control measures, simple seeding or toughing. So if slope is there, if we will directly sprinkling that seeds and manure, whatever it is, then after some time vegetation will come. So it will develop these vegetation roots will develop the strength to that top surface layer. So effectively only after this will effective when after only establishment of vegetation. Then other types of roads, rolled erosion control measures and hydraulically applied erosion control measures. These will provide protective cover resisting soil erosion, retains runoff, and facilitates establishments of vegetation. So these are the mats, geosynthetic erosion control mats, which we will use. I will explain you here. So here three types of mats which we will use normally. Biodegradable mats. Ultimately, when we are providing mats on a particular slope for erosion control application, so we have to first think of what is the slope angle. So it ultimately depends upon the slope angle and rainfall intensity of that particular application. For biodegradable mats means it is made up of coir or natural geotextile. So here it is suitable for gentle slopes, low rainfall intensity application. After we will lay these mats, then we will sprinkle the seeds, manure, and all. Then after that we have to do watering and maintenance for the vegetation. After some like 1 year or 2 years, this mat will go. It will not. It is a degradable mat, so it will go. These vegetation roots will develop strength to the soil. So this is a main mechanism in erosion control measures. Then 3D geosynthetics mats. So slope inclination up to 65 degree, we can use these mats as environmental condition. Then beyond after 75 degree to 90 degree, we can go with 3-dimensional reinforced geosynthetic mats. So these these products are covered under MORTS section 700 2015. So then after this, hydraulically applied erosion control measures applied via process of hydroseeding. This is a process of hydroseeding. So it is a process where seed and any combination of fertilizer, lime, biostimulant, moisture retention, polymer, tackifier, and other additives are combined with water and hydroseeding mulch to form slurry and sprayed on the ground surface. So if topsoil layer is there, but it is not at all supporting for vegetation, it is a barren, like it looks like a barren land. So once we have to test this topsoil whether it is allowing to grow the vegetation or not. So agronomical testing we have to do. Once it is having, then it is okay. Once it is not having, if it is not having that much capable of growing vegetation there, so we have to do one more thing. So here flexible growth medium and biotic soil media is there. So this biotic soil media is topsoil alternative which we can grow the vegetation from it. So this is one of the case study. So here site condition before trial, how it looks. So this is the action which has happened there. Then agronomic soil tests were conducted and trial solution was finalized. So these are the site preparation photographs. After that, flexible growth medium. as I told you before, flexible growth medium. So this is a process of where seed and any combination of fertilizers. So this we have to spray here. So then after that, this is also spraying vegetation in 4 days. So vegetation has developed in 4 days. Then after this 6th June 2016, it looks like this. Then after 20th June 2016, it looks completely vegetated fascia. So then these are the erosion control techniques. Then river training measures. When our like river is going parallel to the valley side slope, and in the Himalayas, rivers are having velocity, greater velocity, like 6 meter per second, 7 meter per second. So when this river is going in a faster velocity, like velocity is going, so with a rapid velocity it is going, so it will develop holes, cover holes, and it will form it will develop erosion also in that slope, entire slope. So for this, to reduce the erosion along the river side, river slope, we have to provide some spurs or groins or aprons, pitching, etc. So the materials used for riverbank protection along river shall be flexible structures like reprafting the toe of the slope, or provide mechanically woven steel wire mesh KVN boxes or mattress, or it shall be fabric foam mattress. So here, this is a pitching. It is a combination of big boulders placed. So alternative option of pitching is a provision of gabions. Here gabion towel we have provided, then mattress we have provided. So this is a gabion towel, this is a hills, this is a valley side, and here river is flowing. So here mattress is there. Then alternative one, another alternative option is fabric foam mattress. It is a like two geotextiles where we can pump the concrete in between between two geotextiles. Like concrete we have to pump and we have to lay it. It is an in situ process, so we have to lay it like this. After some days, this geotextile will disappear, it will degrade. Then this concrete will act as a fascia here, as a apron. Then nailing, anchoring, or bolting. So when our slope is not having it is not geotechnical stable, so we have to strengthen the slope. So we will go with normally nailing or bolting or anchoring, we will go. So for this like different types of fascias are there. First one is flexible structure facing with Gabion fascia. This is nailing. So Gabion fascia we have provided. So here geotextile for separation and filtration layer. So how it looks like in inside, soil nailing with Gabion fascia. And another fascia is soil nailing with flexible silicea. This is a mesh system. This has actually been provided for rockfall protection works. So then after this, so this cut slope stabilization. So this is near Kerala, Tamil Nadu border. So here the slope is 79 degrees, like it is a steep slope. So here the slope is geotechnically not stable. For that we have provided soil nailing. And for as a fascia, we have provided erosion control measures. So reinforced geosynthetic erosion control mat we have provided. Then hydro seeding we have done. So after vegetation, it looks like this. So here, these are the execution photographs. Then rockfall mitigation measures. So as we have discussed earlier, rockfall is a detachment of rock movements in the process of rolling or sliding or that thing. So what are the different types of rock mitigation measures? How will mitigate that rockfall? We cannot stabilize the rockfall, but we can protect our infrastructure, protect our highway or railway, whatever it is going. So first of all, 4 types of rockfall mitigation systems are there. One is rockfall warning systems, and rockfall protection measures, retention measures, and prevention measures. Warning measures are means in the name itself it is there, warning. It will give, whenever landslide rockfall is happening there, it will give a signal to that located area. So this is our warning measures. It is under developing stage now. Then rockfall protection measures, bumps or benching. In soil slope also we have discussed about bumps or benching to stabilize the area and to provide the erosion control measures and to provide the stable workspace area for horizontal drains. So these are the advantages of bumps or benching in soil slope. Then now we are going to discuss about for rockfall, how berms or benching is helping, and drapery systems, rockfall barriers or embankments, rockfall ditches and trenches, rockfall attenuators or hybrid barriers, debris flow barriers, rock sheds or tunnels, erosion control mats, then retention measures here. So what retention measures will do is it will retain the debris from falling down the slope. So retention measures are mesh with nails or anchor, superficial strengthening, then shotcreting, chemical stabilization of slope phase. Then rockfall prevention measures. What prevention measures do? It will act to control the detachment of rock or stabilize the rock slope. So these are the different techniques of rockfall mitigation systems. We will discuss one by one. So as I told you, rockfall warning measures, it will fences and warning signals. So it has been installed, rockfall warning measures has been installed in Raksha Daga along Konkan Railway to give the signals. Then rockfall protection measures, bumps are mentioned. So here it is a popular technique used where a break in slope is required. So if a long slope is there, we have to break that slope by providing benching to restrict rockfalls, especially cutouts. Very effective means of reducing the energy of rocks. So once this benching will provided, so we will ultimately reducing the energy of falling rocks frequently used on permanent slopes. Then after that, drapery system is there. So here it is a steel mesh system. So aimed at controlling rockfall along the slope. This is a slope and this is a road it is going. So if for preventing protecting fall, so we provide a steel wire mesh here, steel mesh system here. So it is anchoring here on the crest of the slope. So if enough space is available at the top of slope, we will provide like a trench. So whatever the rocks are falling, so it will travel through this mesh system and it will fall here. So by maintaining it, we can remove this falling debris or rocks or stones. So this is one of the system. In case if space at toe is not available, not at all, it is there. So in that we will do anchoring in the top and bottom portion. It will the rock whatever detaching is traveling through the slope. After that, these are temporary only. We can remove it and we can remove the debris or rock fall whatever it is. Then we can keep here. Keep it again here. So these are the techniques of different simple drapery mesh system. Then coming to the another system, rockfall barrier structures aimed at these rockfall barriers. Actually, we don't know from where the rockfall is happening because height of the slope is much more here. I don't know where exact rockfall is coming. So in that cases, to catch and stop the falling rock, we will provide rockfall barriers. These are flexible rockfall barriers. So here then after that this is the slope here. Then here rockfall barrier it is there. So from the hillside, the rock will bounce here and it will get entrapped by this rockfall barrier. So that infrastructure it will not damage. Once we will do maintenance, this whatever falling rocks we can remove and we can clean it. So this is the flexible rockfall barrier. After that, rockfall embankments are there. So this is a road here. This is the embankment which we have constructed. So from the hillside, whatever rock is coming here, it will directly hit to the embankment. It will not damage the infrastructure here. This is the main purpose of here. The rock is coming here, rockfall is happening. So it will directly hit to this rockfall embankment. Concrete these are another concrete barrier. These are other type concrete barriers. Then masonry walls. Instead of embankments, we will provide masonry walls, timber soldier pile walls, etc. Then another system is rockfall attenuators or hybrid barriers or hanger nodes. So here it looks like a rockfall barrier only, like this only. But here we have provided. Here we are giving anchoring here. Here in this case we won't give anchoring here. We will directly drap through this entire valley side, so hillside. So once rockfall will happen here, so this rock is getting traveled through this drapery and it will get detached at the toe. So we will remove that rocks later. So after that, debris flow barrier is there, made of flexible ring nets, withstands high static and dynamic loads, separates the water from debris, thus reducing the destructive force. So what it will do is by providing a flexible debris flow barrier, So this debris will retain. We will keep the debris away. Then water will go through this. So this is a debris flow barrier. Then rockfall ditches and trenches. These are also similar techniques made at the top of the slope to contain the falling rocks from the slope. So we will make one, this rockfall ditches we will make at the top of the slope. So it will, whatever rockfall is happening, the rocks will get detached, that will get, occupied here. So this is one of the most effective permanent rockfall system for most highways when properly planned. So then erosion control measures. If a rock is alone is there, then we cannot provide any vegetation there. So if soil and boulder mix is there, then in those cases we can provide. So used when the slopes to be protected contain soil mixed with boulders designed to allow passage of water while retaining in situ soil without clogging. Then coming to the rockfall protection measures, in that rockfall protection measures also, like rock sheds and tunnels are there. We can construct. This is a tunnel. So this is a hill. So through this road is going. Then this is a rock shed. So this is an infrastructure. So are widely used on steep slopes above narrow railways or roadways, requires a steeply sloping roof covering a relatively narrow span. So these are the different rock sheds or tunnels. Then we discussed rock protection systems. We can protect it. Then what are the retention system which will retain the slope? So these are mesh with nails or anchor surfacial strengthening. The top surface here we will provide one mesh, steel mesh, along with surfacial anchors. Whatever local detachments are there, it will hold. This mesh will hold in between the anchors, surfacial anchors that detach. Then short retaining. Short. In cases of severely jointed rock forming small blocks, weathered rock surfaces, zones and beds of. This is for erosion control application only. So this is a rock shotcrete. For closely fractured rock, so with short with cement concrete. So we will do the shotcrete there. Then after that, prevention measures. So what are the different prevention measures? Prevention measure is completely stabilizing the slope. We will do in soil clays also. If it is not globally stable, we will do nailing or anchoring or bolting. In similar case, in rock falls also, rock slope also, we will do nailing. We will do anchoring and bolting. Then other one also, buttress supports reaction walls and shear case. So here anchors have been provided to prevent sliding of blocks or wedges of rocks or discontinuities dipping out of the face. Then buttress support to retain and protect the areas of weak rock to support the overhang. So if overhang is there, so it will after some time it will get detached and it will fall on the road. So to support that overhanging, we will provide buttress. Then shear keys, it will provide support for blocks of rock up to about a meter thick, as well as zones of loose and weathered rock at the crest of slope. Then reaction wall, protect against raveling of the rock, and large reaction plate for the rock anchors. Then after that, so these are the different techniques, scaling and trimming. We have to do the scaling, hand scaling or mechanical scaling. So trim blasting, these are the other techniques of rock removal. Then after rockfall measures, rockfall mitigation measures, then we are going to discuss about debris flow mitigation and emergency solution. This is a debris flow barrier. So it will separate the water from debris. So debris will stop here. This is a barrier. Debris will stop here. Only water will go. So we will, remove this debris from this slope. So after this, these are different types of debris barriers: open slope barrier and channel barrier. So open slope barrier is having posts and bracing cables, whereas channel barrier is not having posts and bracing cables. So these are posts actually. These are posts and these are bracing cables. This is open slope barrier. Then it is a channel barrier. It is not having posts or bracing cables. Then emergency protection measures. Like if you are not having that much time to do the to install the debris flow barrier, and wherever we are not having to transport the material there, so in that cases debris emergency solutions will be helpful. It is having an advantages. rapid and simple to deploy, flexible and light, simple connection between units, uses locally available material, easy transportation. So this is one of the emergency measure. So this is an Aerodox consolidation unit. It is a pyramidal shape steel modular structure provided with mono anchoring nail. This is a mono anchoring nail with a very light structure, versatile and easy to be installed to be used for superficial soil stabilization and emergency intervention, also against debris flow. So it is normally used to protect the slope subjected to high erosion. Then used for stabilization of gullies, debris flows, and the reconstruction of slopes. Then shows particular efficiency and versatility, allowing you to intervene even in extreme condition with significant structural and mechanical efficiency. It is economically feasible to cover up to a depth of 9 meters. I will show you one by one where we have. So this has already been explained. So before this is a valley slide slope. It is a road is going here. So before treating with any retention measures or mitigation measures, the slopes looks like this. Then after installing emergency measures, now it got stabilized. Then here before how it was, now after how it is. Then case stress. So as we all know, like Uttarakhand is a land of gods. So one of the most beautiful northern states of India, spectacularly scenic landscapes. So Uttarakhand is a most religious and pilgrimage city. Then Char Dham Yatra is one of the most religious event there. So circuit of 4 ancient pilgrimage sites, and millions of devotees take up this year's tour in peak season when the climate is worst. Hope is to experience bliss and successfully purge their souls of all worldly demons. So Char Dham Yatra mainly involves 4 locations: Yamunotri, Gangotri, Kedarnath, and Badrinath. So all when we have to go to all to these pilgrimage centers, so we have to go this. We have to go in one route only to reach Kedarnath, Badrinath, or other locations. So that is one and only the route is NH58. So as all we know in 2013. As all we know in 2010, cloud burst has happened in Uttarakhand. So these are the before heavy floods how it was look like this. Then after heavy floods, during heavy floods it is looking like this. So the water level, how much it has increased, we can observe here. Then after this, so this is a map. So this I have already shown to you. So first one is landslide mitigation measures at Uttarakhand. Now we are going to discuss about Helang. So this project is, this is, your client is MORTS, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. Then authority engineer is Megatech. Then contract is RG Buildwell Engineers Limited. So what is the project requirement? Geometrical improvement of road alignment. So we have to improve from 7 meter width road to 12 meter road, widening of existing 2-lane road to 12 meter road, and safe road. What are the challenges we face? Keeping existing road functional. So we have to keep the existing road as a functional during the construction and during yatra, and climatic condition, heavy rainfall, extreme cold and harsh summer sun, extremely seismically active zone as per IS 1893. So recurring landslide during construction here we can observe. Then after this, so problems of causative forces. Here a flow of overburden material from the hill slope on the directly to the valley slope. Then surface runoff and gully formation on the slope surface. So surface runoff is there and gully formation is also there. Existing, this is actually the culvert. So it has been blocked by the debris. So here because of this pore water pressure is getting increased. Then climatic changes, inappropriate tension system, unfavorable discontinuity orientation, the erosion of the toe of the slope due to flashy Himalayan rivers, then impact from the large boulders carried by the river. So this is actually existing handmade great falls is there. This got settled there. So we have seen the challenges and what are the causes of slides and causative forces, and moving to the landslide.
One of them all.
So
The Helling landslide zone is
this is the NH58 route, and this is the landslide zone, typical landslide zone.
Towards valley side. In addition, unscientific drainage and slope movement along the plains are the major factors for sliding, in addition to erosion. Okay.
So what measures, mitigation measures we have provided there? So hillside protection, simple drapery system we have provided for as a rockfall protection system, and debris flow barrier to collect the debris. Then valley side retention and erosion control protection. So here reinforced soil structure for valley side retention we have provided with gabion fascia is one type, and with vegetation fascia we have provided. Then drainage hole drainage measures we have provided. Then riverside measures, launching apron and gabion towel we have provided here. This is hillside, and this is the road, and this is valley side, and this is the riverside. So this is the drainage scheme. As I have explained earlier, we have to channelize the water from hillside to valley side river. So these are the gabion cascades. The water from the hillside are directly collecting through these gabion cascades, and it will travel through this this roadside drain. And here existing culvert is there. This water will come to this existing culvert. Then through this chew drain, it will directly divert it to the river. So here toe protection of slope, riverside protection works. So here river is going and valley side is there, and this is the riverside thing. So if water is moving with a faster velocity, with rapid velocity, so it will get eroded. So for this we provided gabion wall of a 3 meter height. Then gabion mattress we have as a launching apron we have provided. So big boulders we have placed over launching apron to prevent the direct impact from the large debris. Then valley side retention system, we provided reinforced soil measures. So we have designed this reinforced soil measures with our in-house softwares called Maxsters, and this is actually based. It is as per BS 8006 Part 1 static analysis and ASTRO standards also. Then valley side retention systems and erosion control measures. This is during construction. This is reinforced soil with gabion fascia and with vegetation fascia. Before vegetation, it is a coir mat simply. So before vegetation, it is looking like this. Then here erosion control mats we have provided, and after construction, it is looking like this. Then valley side retention before how it was, then after how it is. Then hillside protection using simple drapery and debris flow barrier. So simple drapery with deep top anchors to protect 50-meter stretch strata with fractured rock, debris flow or rockfall barrier at the natural drain over cascade structure to protect against debris flow. So this is a simple drapery system as a protection measure to collect the falling rocks. Then this is a rockfall barrier with dual function to collect the rocks as well as debris. Then instrumentation, because here in Himalayas like movements are happening like in every year. So we have to whatever the flexible structures we are providing there, so it is going to accommodate. It will also move with the nature. So move with that slope. So to measure these movements or stresses or earth pressure or pore water pressure, we have to install some instruments to monitor. By monitoring it, we can determine the values. What is the earth pressure is developing there, and what is the piezometric pressure is developing there. So why instrumentation? Because these slopes are high, located in high rainfall intensity, high seismic zone, toe erosion of the slope due to the river. So these are the sum of. This is a typical scheme. This is a valley side measure, valley side retention system, reinforced soil. So strain gauges we have installed, bireflexes targets, piezometer, earth pressure cell, and inclinometer. Here, inclinometer will give the movement, whether our reinforced soil is moving horizontally or vertically. Earth pressure cell will give the earth pressure developing there. So these are the different types of instruments installed. Then this is another case study, Maithana. So here, hillside solution, we have given nailed Gabion wall and roadside drain and nailing. So valley side retention, again reinforced soil system. Then Gabion toe wall for river training measures. So these are the few photographs of initial site condition. Then during construction, I will show you this. This is the during construction photograph video. Then complete overall view how it looks like. So here chute is there, then here cascade is there. This is a reinforced soil system. Here again culvert is there. So through this water will channelize. This is a chute drain. It is directly going through this river. So this is a chute drain. Water will collect from here. So this travels to the chute drain. Here river training measures will come. So this is a river. River training measures, we have used Gabion toe wall and river mattress, Gabion mattress as a launching apron. So water will directly come to this and diverted to river. So before construction it was like this. Then after construction, this is a chute drain and this is a reinforced soil system. This is the river and these are the river training measures. It is like this. Then Govindgatri, it is initial conditions are like this, landslide prone area. Then we have provided similar solution, hillside measures, valley side measures, and written Gabion toe wall as a riverside measures. So these are the some of the views of measures there. Then during winter, how it was. So because of snow, it was like this. Then Birahi, another location is Birahi landslide. So here, as I told you, like a 25-meter reinforced soil system we have built. We constructed there with Gabion fascia and two types of fascia, with Gabion fascia and reinforced soil fascia. Inside erosion control mats, hydraulically applied erosion controls we have used. And here, this is a Gabion toe wall. Then case study number 2, debris flow mitigation measures near Kedarnath temple. So moving to this, Kedarnath is one of the most holy strings of Chardham. It receives heavy rainfall and cloud bursts, which triggers frequent debris flows. This carries potential danger and cause deadly destruction to the areas below. So all this is a helipad location and threat to the stability of Bhairanath temple, which is in surrounding of Kedarnath temple. So because of this debris movement, all these are getting damaged. So here extreme weather conditions and high altitude, transportation of system is not possible. It's only possible with manually by trekking only. So in this cases, what is the solution which we can provide to arrest the debris? So here few challenges: no heavy machinery available and limited working hours. Solution required with dismantle system with no requirement of drilling. So here we can think of debris flow barriers. We discussed open slope barriers and channel barriers. So all these will require drilling. So anchors, if we have to install anchors, we have to do drilling. So here drilling is not possible. So the one and only solution is emergency measures. This is pyramidal structure. So we have installed these things. So these are some of the installation photographs during the construction. So here detachment of debris we can see here. So coming to the conclusions, whenever we are treating the hill slope, landslide area, rockfall area, we have to observe 360-degree observation should be there from hill to toe, not only hillside and not only valley side and not only river side. We have to treat complete landslide area and engineering drainage design. Before we are going with mitigation measures, we have to plan the drainage system or drainage network first. Then we have to do the drainage design and analysis. Then we have to go with the mitigation measures. Then flexible earthquake resistant structures compared to rigid structure. So which will accommodate the movements, flexible structures which will accommodate the movements that we have to install there. Then instrumentation we can choose, because so that we can know the movements in the structures. then river training measures, involvement from concept to instrumentation, implementation, then employment with local people, reduction in carbon footprint. So these are the these are the things which we need to keep in mind before we are going with the before we are going to mitigate the this solution. So thank you all. Thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Good presentation, Padmaja.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead.
That was a very good presentation, madam, and there also huge appreciation for the presentation in the YouTube, ma'am. Ma'am, shall we take a few questions, ma'am?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, first one. How the large talus slopes can be protected? For example, the Leh Ladakh region.
Okay. So this is the question. Large.
Oh yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. How the large talus slopes can be protected? For
Okay.
example, the Leh Ladakh region.
Okay, in that this is a high climatic condition where the high altitude location Leh Ladakh is so we before we have to mitigate that slope or protect the slope, we have to choose the suitable measures which are suiting to in that climatic conditions and into in that area, especially which measures we are going to treat. So that is very important. Choosing the suitable measures is very important there. So in that cases also we have to go with this flexible measures only. So that is my answer here. So because if we will go with rigid solutions, it will develop ultimately cracks. It will fail all on a sudden. So going with flexible solution, it will be a good choice.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. And the second one, can we provide gabion as a protective work for a river stream?
River for a
River stream.
river? I'm not getting you.
Stream, madam. River stream, madam.
Yeah,
River
yeah, yeah,
stream.
definitely. We have, as I have shown you, like gabions as a launching apron we have provided for river protection measures. So definitely we will provide that.
Yes, ma'am. Engineer Abhijit is asking, how hydroseeding is different from turfing?
Turf seeding. Okay, in the normal turf seeding, what we will do, we will only mix the seeds, manure and all. So we will directly spray without any erosion control mats. We don't know whether vegetation is coming there or not. We have to, so it's all depends upon the vegetation only. In hydrologically applied erosion control measures, we are adding flexible growth media. That means that we will add additional particles also in that, additional matter also in that apart. When we will compare with turf vegetation, we will add more manure, and that details we will add in this. So effective vegetation will grow here, flexible growth media, and biotic soil media is also there. If your topsoil is not having rich in nutrients, so and not in like rich nutrients content, so in that cases we will go with biotic soil media. This is a topsoil alternative. So first, before we are treating the slope, after scaling that slope, then what we will do is we will directly spray this topsoil media, biotic soil media. So then after that we can go with either turfing or flexible growth media. We will go for vegetation growth. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. And Mr. Mahinder is asking, how to know which type geotextile would we use for different types of problems like separation, filtration, etc.
Yeah, in MORTS 700, it has clearly given, like, it depends upon the your ground conditions, soil conditions. So type 1 geotextile, type 2 geotextile, and type 3 geotextile are there in MORTS 700. So it will give for different conditions, different ground conditions, how we will, which type we will choose. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Mr. Laval is asking, please can you explain how to do a back analysis for a slope failure problem?
Yeah. Like there are so many softwares for analyzing the slope stability. Actually, normally we will use generic software, slide software. In that software, back analysis also we can do to determine the shear parameters, C5 and density. So in that we have to do like demo. Now I cannot give. So in that slide software, normally we can do.
One more question, ma'am. Mr. Engineer Abhijit is asking, do the application of shotcrete to joining rock affect the pore pressure buildup behind? Is it recommended?
I'm not getting you one.
Oh, yeah, one second, ma'am. Do the application of shotcrete to jointed rock affect the pore pressure buildup?
Mm-hmm.
Is it recommended?
Yeah, shotcreting means like now weathered rock is there, which is having high fractures actually. So because of these fractures develop on the rock slope, so after some time these fractures will it will enter deeply into that rock slope. So because of pore water pressure also increasing behind this rock slope, this rock falls will happen normally. So if we will fill those cracks with shotcreting or concrete, so ultimately it will reduce the pore water pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I thank Ms. Padmaja Garu for spending her valuable time with us and giving us valuable information. You taking time out of your busy personal and professional schedules means the world to us. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much to Professor Ishwar Reddy sir for giving me this opportunity to interact with you people all. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, so from my side, so I request you to give small input to our students. So
Yeah,
if
sir.
you want to continue in the industry, what steps they have to take when they are in college?
Yeah, sir. Uh, Actually, I have also came like this. These information, I don't know anything about this information. I don't know anything when I was in college. I know only rigid retaining walls, how it will be designed, and reinforced soil system basic concepts only I know. Like whatever the codes or standards which we are getting published in IRC or BIS, they can refer those codes and they can know the designs aspects, sir. In that situation, if they have to come, like they will come with some small preparation, like basic. If we have to use reinforced soil walls also, we have IRCSP 102. So in that all at the project theories has it is there, and how to design the reinforced soil wall, all these things it has given there. So we can read, we can revise that one, we can read that standard ones, and we can do like that, sir.
No, my point is, so what are the challenges you have faced as a fresher when you enter into the industry?
First one is a language problem. Then, yeah, that is obviously it is there. Then challenges means I have not faced any challenges apart from that problem, sir. So here, like all are very cooperative and very interactive. So that is only my it is not a challenge. It is like problem.
So any suggestions like subject knowledge will be helpful, fundamentals should be strong.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, fundamentals, it will be it will give easy to catch the things. If you have to design is required. If our basics, our foundation is strong, we will catch up the things fastly. In a design point of view or construction point of view, suppose if we are constructing one thing at site, if suddenly problem has come in the construction, like drainage problem, or if it is suddenly collapsing, then we can analyze it very, if our fundamentals strong, we can analyze it very fastly.
Okay. So how do you feel as a civil engineer?
I am feeling grateful, sir.
Yeah. So now also you are working from home,
Yeah, sir. Yes, I am working from home.
but also you can inform. See, it's not only software company; it is even civil engineering companies are doing
Yeah,
work from home.
yeah, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Padmaja. So I
Thank you so
appreciate
much,
your
sir.
presentation. It's a good presentation. So hope you will keep it up.
Yeah, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, one and all.
Thank you all.
Bye.